Hello guys, I hope you're doing okay. The objective of this video is to learn how the Ecuadorian curriculum proposal it's divided and how to identify the different levels and how to navigate through that document so we can begin to apply it into our projects and into our professional teaching practices. Okay, so let's begin with that. Uh, well, in order to begin, I am going to go uh, with the basics. Okay, so in the first partial, we'll learn which ones are the core principles of the Ecuadorian curriculum. And just to mention them, I know that you are already familiar with this topic, but just to mention the core principles. Uh, The first one that we have, it's the CLT, the Communicative Language Teaching, Communicative Language Approach. Okay, the second one, it's Content and Language Integrated Learning. Number three, it's International Standards. Number four is Thinking Skills. And number five, it's Learner Center. So throughout all document, we are always going to find those principles. Why? The reason is that the people who build this program basing the proposal into these pillars, into the core principles, the Ecuadorian curriculum. So that's something that you have to remember, okay? In the second partial, in the theoretical part, we are going to review the different core assumptions of CLIL, and in that way, you are going to understand better how is the CLIL reflected. Sorry, how is the CLT reflected into this program? The same thing with the 4Cs framework for the CLIL in this case, okay? So that's something that we are going to review throughout the theoretical part of the second partial. But as I told you, today's objective is to learn how it's the program divided into the different levels across the Ecuadorian proposal in the Ecuadorian system education. So the first thing you have to understand is that our program, the Ecuadorian proposal, have an entry profile, which is this one. Okay, this one will be the entry profile. And we also have an exit profile, which is the V1. Okay, so our students, this means that our students begin with this level, with a pre-A1, with a pre-basic level, And that's why it says here pre-basic user. That's before the A1. And once they progress from the second grade till the third year of bachillerato, they are supposed to reach at this level. They're supposed to develop linguistic competence equivalent to a V1 level, which is an independent user. Okay, we are not gonna judge if that's what happens or not. In Ecuadorian reality, we are just gonna analyze the background of the Ecuadorian proposal. Okay, so continuing with that, I mentioned second grade. And so you may be wondering right now why I don't have a first grade in here. What happened with first grade? Why it's not here? The thing is that in Ecuador, uh, English as a foreign language, or EFL, as I am going to refer to the subject from now on in this video, it's mandatory when students get promoted or reach the second grade. That means that, yes, there are institutions, public institutions and private institutions that teach English in first grade or even in preparatory or in the initial grades, initial one, initial two. Yes, it happens, but it is optional. It's not mandatory for them to teach English as a foreign language, EFL, at first grade, for instance. It's not mandatory. When it becomes mandatory as a part of the curriculum, as a part of the program, it's here, second grade. Okay. So that's what you have to understand. Now, the students progress from second grade to third grade, and they move or they stay in pre-A1, okay? So in these grades, they stay in pre-A1, and when they actually get promoted to fourth grade, right here, they reach the A1.1 level. And when they move forward to fifth grade, they are basically already at A1.2, which means that they are ready to move to the A2 level. So that's what it says here. So when they get to sixth grade and seventh grade, they begin and reach the A2 level. Now, this is something interesting about the program, and it's that when they get promoted from seventh grade to eighth grade, they don't move forward to a V1. So they are here when they are in seventh grade, but they don't move immediately to V1 because the people who build the program, they decided to make them go back from A2 to A1 to reinforce. And I don't know if that concept maybe it's ringing any bell in your head. But if you pay attention to the first partial, this is what we call in curriculum design dimensions or curriculum design elements as continuity. So they reinforce, they practice, but they go into a deeper level. So, and now I want, sorry, and now I want you to think back about the Ecuadorian curriculum principles. So the Ecuadorian curriculum principles, the core principles are again CLT, CLIL, international standards, learner-centered, and thinking skills. So makes sense because when we link this with thinking skills, we know that we move from lower order of thinking to higher order of thinking. So which means that when they go back, even though I am not a huge fan of this proposal when it goes back, but makes sense because when they go back from A2 to E1, they just don't go back, but they reinforce. Following the design dimension of continuity, they repeat, practice, rethink, revisit, and more than that, they move from lower order of thinking to higher order of thinking. So that's what actually happens in eighth grade. Then when they move to ninth grade, they are still A1. 10th grade, they move back to A2. And first year of bachillerato, it's when they reach, or they supposed to reach the A2 level of proficiency. And that leaves us with second and third year of bachillerato for us to reach the V1 level of proficiency, okay? Now, another thing that I want you to understand is that the Ecuadorian curriculum proposal is divided into levels or sub-levels, as it's mentioned here. So we have Básica Elemental, we have Básica Media, we have Básica Superior, and Bachillerato. Do you remember what I told you? That it is mandatory when students reach the second year, the second grade? Well, we also have the level preparatorio, okay? So we actually have 5 levels in the Ecuadorian proposal, or we have 5 different curriculums, which are part of the same program that begins with a pre-A1 level and finish with a V1 level, as I already mentioned here. So another thing that you have to consider, it's that every level or sub-level, it's going to be compound by 3 years. So for instance, if I want to check the curriculum program from Bachillerato, it's going to contain first year of Bachillerato, second year of Bachillerato, and third year of Bachillerato. If I want to check up the Ecuadorian curriculum for Básica Superior, I am going to be checking these 3 years. Let me see if I can make this better. Yeah, this one will fit better. So if I am talking about Superior, it's going to contain 8, 9, and 10 year. Bachillerato, first, second, and third, and like that. When I talk about Básica Media, I am going to be checking the program from 7th, 6th, and 5th year, or grade in this case. And Básica Elemental will be 2nd grade, 3rd grade, and 4th grade, okay? Those are the divisions. So I want you to keep in mind that when we, uh, I want you, I want you to keep in mind that when we check and the different programs, the different levels, you are going to be analyzing 3 years basically, because that's the level. So you're going to be analyzing the level that's compound by 3 years. Okay. So that's what you have to think about. Okay. Now let me erase these annotations around here. And before we move on to the program, to the actual program, another thing that you have to consider, it's like the program was built upon different principles. We also divide the program into curricular threads. Okay, you know that I don't enjoy using Spanish with you, but curricular threads is what we call in Spanish as an eje curricular. Okay, because sometimes the first time that you hear the terminology could be like, what's that? So a curricular thread, it's an eje curricular, or as we call it in different countries, curricular strand. Okay, so it's the same, curricular strand, curricular thread, eje curricular, it's the same. Okay, Ecuadorian proposal, it's divided across 5 different curricular threads. Okay, each curricular thread, it's going to have a subthread or a set of subthreads. For instance, the first curricular thread is going to be communication and cultural awareness. Second curricular thread, it's going to be oral communication. I want you to notice that it's not speaking and listening, it's oral communication. And oral communication is compound by those two. Now, the numbers are important, so I want you to remember the numbers, okay? So curricular thread number 2, it's oral communication. Curricular thread number 3, it's reading. Curricular thread number 4, it's writing. And curricular thread number 5, it's language through the art. Remember, we are talking about curricular threads. We are not talking about the 4 major skills in the use of a language, because of the names you can get confused. So when we talk about curricular threads in the Ecuadorian proposal, we're talking about 5 different curricular threads that are going to be articulated across the 5 different levels. Remember, the first one, it's preparatoria, and we finish with the last one, which is number 5, in this case, bachillerato, okay? The numbers are important, because as I mentioned in the objective of this video, you are going to learn how to navigate to the document. And in order to learn how to navigate to the document, you have to keep in mind the numbers, okay? The numbers of the curricular threads, as well as the numbers as well as the numbers of the different levels, okay? Those are the numbers that you have to remember. So for elemental will be number 2, for básica media will be number 3, básica superior will be number 4, and bachillerato will be number 5, okay? Now, keep that in mind, take some notes about it. Now we are gonna check the Ecuadorian proposal. So I am already here. I am already here at the webpage of Ministerio de Educación, Deporte y Cultura. How do you access here? Well, basically you have to, let me go back. You have to go to the webpage, which is educacion.gov.ec. And in here you have the menu. And once you have the menu, you have to go to the one that says curriculum. And in curriculum, you have to scroll down a little bit and you are gonna find yourself with the program, okay? With the current proposals. And this is what I was talking about. So we begin here with preparatoria, and we have there elemental. We also have media, superior, and bachillerato. And you have other programs. And remember what I told you. Yes, here we have the childhood first childhood here curriculum, and we also have the initial one, but those ones are not mandatory. Remember that, okay? And so I am gonna begin to work with the one from Superior, okay? I am gonna choose as an example Superior. So I'm gonna open the program, and English as a foreign language, EFL, it's almost at the end. It's almost at the end, okay? It's almost here at the end. So I'm just gonna scroll down here. Now I see English here and it's here. So the first thing that you are gonna find yourself is, remember that this one is from Superior. And if you remember Superior, it's number 4. Okay, I want you to remember that. Okay, this is a program from Superior, and Superior, it's number 4. Okay, program number 4. So the first thing that you are gonna notice, let me see if I can make it bigger. Like, yeah, I believe that I can do it here. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that will do. Okay, so the first thing that you're gonna find, it's the level area objective. Okay, that is important. So level area objective. The area in this case, it's EFL. Okay, the level in this case, it's, as I was mentioning, superior. And the number is number 4. Okay, now for the level superior, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different objectives. Okay. Now, how can you recognize that these objectives are actually from superior? Easy. You have the codes. Okay. That's what I was mentioning previously, that the numbers are important to navigate through the document. So the O here stands for objective. That's not difficult to guess, right? So the O here stands for objective. The EFL here stands for English as a foreign language, which is there. And look, we have an important number in here, which is the number 4. And the number 4, it's this one, superior. Okay. I know, well, you may be wondering about the last number, the last digit. So what's the last digit about? Well, the last digit, it's the order of the objective. For instance, this one, it's O point EFL 4.2. That means that this is the second objective of level superior of English as a foreign language. Okay. And if I pick this one that ends with a 49, means that it's the objective number 9. Okay. Well, I hope you have that one clear. Okay, let me erase it, or feel free to move backward in the video to repeat this part. Okay. Now, once we move from the objective, we have the curricular threads. As I told you, the curricular threads, it's how we organize the contents into different big areas of studies. So we have English as a foreign language, curricular thread number 1, communication and cultural awareness. That means that communication and cultural awareness is one of the big components here that we have in EFL. And if you remember this, you can associate this with a scope for sure from the first partial, okay? Because we are organizing the content. Now, this is going to be divided always into curricular threads. But again, you need the codes in order to be able to navigate through the document. Okay, so you need the codes. But before analyzing the codes, I want you to notice that we are always going to have a table like this, a little chart like this, with 3 columns: the evaluation criteria, the skills and performance descriptor to be evaluated, and the indicator for the performance criteria. Which one is the most important? All of them are important. The three of them are always going to be important for us as teachers. So the evaluation criteria, it's how we supposed to evaluate our students' progress, okay? Well, what do we have to consider to evaluate the students' progress? The skills and performance descriptors are basically the different abilities that our students are going to develop once they finish the program, okay? What they're going to be able to do. And finally, we have the indicator for performance criteria. The big with the indicator for the performance criteria, it's that it's the tangible piece of evidence that our students know or that our students are already there. This is really specific. Okay, so the indicator is always going to be really specific. You can look at the indicator for the performance criteria as a succeed indicator. Okay, so this is really, really specific as I mentioned. And well, with that, let's going to analyze the codes. So the first one for the evaluation criteria, we're going to have the CE for evaluation criteria. EFL stands for English as a foreign language. And here we have the 4, which stands for the area, for the level, which again, in this case is superior, okay? And then we have number 1, number 2, which is actually the order. See, number 4, okay, number 5, which is the order, okay? Which is the order of the evaluation criteria. And you notice that the order keeps going. Number 5, so that's why you need to remember the codes. Number 7, and you keep going until the last one, okay? So that's why you need to remember the codes. So you can associate that with the level and you can understand with what specific curricular thread you're supposed to work with that evaluation criteria, okay? So for instance, with the evaluation criteria, number 1 from superior, from EFL, I have to develop these skills. EFL, number 4, remember superior. Number 1, this one it's interesting because this one it's going to tell us, that it belongs or corresponds with curricular thread number 1, okay? See, that's why you are always going to have the one there. In the ones that correspond with curricular thread number 1, for sure. Now, for the indicator, for the performance criteria, you're also gonna have the codes. Now, for instance, in this case, this one it's the I for indicator, EFL, English as a foreign language, number 4, which means that in this case is superior. And here's when things get interesting, because you may think, oh, if we follow the same pattern, this one it's going to correspond with the curricular thread. But not necessarily, not exactly, sorry. In this case, the number 1 means that it corresponds with evaluation criteria. See, it corresponds with evaluation criteria. That's why we have 4-1 here and 4-1 here. And the number 1 is because it's the first one, because it could be that we could have more than one indicator for the performance criteria, for the evaluation criteria, which is in the first column, okay? Here's the same. So we have 4 point here, and we have 4.2 here and 4.2 here as well. Okay. So again, the 3 of them are important. Okay. The 3 of them are important. Now, here also we have some codes, but big spoiler alert, these represent the exit profile, or to speak more properly, how this contributes to the exit profile of graduated from Bachillerato. And here also we have some curricular insertions and some competencies that our students supposed to develop, or how can we make them improve with these competencies. But we are going to analyze these once we learn to identify the different evaluation criteria, skills, and indicators next week, okay? So again, it's the same. It's the same deal. So for instance, here I am gonna move a little bit forward, and in here we can identify. Obviously, now it's really easy because we are reading it in title. But here we have the criteria of evaluation for the EFL from superior, and this one's number 7. Remember that this one follows continuity here in order. And for this one, it's EFL, superior, curricular threat number 2, and this is the number or the digit that correspond with that, right? The last digit, right there. And finally, here we have finally, here we have the indicator, which is I for indicator, EFL, and this is a foreign language, for superior, and this one corresponds with number 7, which is the evaluation criteria number 7, and the first one of it. And that's how you navigate through this document. Okay, that's how you navigate through this document. Now, the main idea, as I told you, of this activity, it's for you to be able to fill out this little template around here. Okay, so here you are gonna put the number of your group. Here you are gonna put the names of the students. Here you are gonna put the name of the unit that you are gonna develop into your project. Here you're gonna put a possible list of topics. Okay, this doesn't have to be perfect, but at least have to give us an idea of which ones are the most common topics across this unit, the one that you want to develop. Here you are gonna copy and paste the evaluation criteria with the code, the skills and performance criteria for this one, the skills and performance script to be evaluated, and the indicator. So you're gonna copy and paste it, okay? This is really important. This is really important for the project. If you have this correct, you are going to succeed. You are going to succeed. I'm sorry. And of course, the curricular threats. That's also what you need. It could be 1 or 2, according to what's your perspective on the unit. The curricular threat or threats that you want to develop. Okay, so this is today's activity. This is what you are going to do with your team. You have to fill out this little template with the correct information. Now, the takeaway or the big takeaway of this class is that you leave the classroom with a proper evaluation criteria, a skills and performance descriptor, and an indicator as a curricular threat. So if you have everything this correct, this is basically already 3 points from your project of the second partial. Okay, so that's why it is really important for me that you, all the teams, succeed in this activity. Okay, if you have questions, let me know, and I hope that you all leave today's class with the template already filled out. Thank you very much for your attention, and let's keep working.